Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life radio, podcast, and television show. I'm your host, Life Coach Myrna Young, and sitting in the guest chair today is Sigrun. Sigrun is a business coach and mentor, and she's talking to me all the way from Iceland. Welcome, Sigrun.
Thank you for having me, Myrna. It's a pleasure.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. It's my pleasure to have you. And our topic today is going to be the 7 stages of a profitable online business. But we
Mhm.
know online businesses are booming. The pandemic has forced everyone online. So even if you didn't have an online business before, hopefully you have one now because that is where the world is shifting to. And I understand that 20% of the people that started online after because of the pandemic will stay online because they just find it much more accommodated and useful. So our topic
Mhm.
today is going to give you some information and how to be successful in your online business. So let me give you a short bio on Sigrun. In 2014, Sigrun started her online business and quickly built a multiple 7-figure coaching business. With a membership, coaching programs, and masterminds, she helps women from all over the world start, build, and scale their online businesses to 6 and 7 figures. In 2020, she founded a real estate company around 2 properties and started her first fund. Her next big project is an international conference in Iceland called the Self Made Summit. It's awesome. Now, is your coaching specifically for women or everybody?
Well, I would say it's specifically for women, even though I have a
Okay.
few male clients.
Okay.
I don't push them away,
Okay.
but my mission is to accelerate gender equality, and I'm doing that through female entrepreneurship.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. I thought I saw that somewhere, but it wasn't. All right. It does. She self helps women. Awesome. Now, reading your bio, you have a very interesting story. It says that you got your start because you lost your job twice in 2 years, and then you became sick for 7 months, which made you an entrepreneur, and that's how you started your company, which is basically what I started off with. Because a lot of people during this pandemic, because they lost their job or they were sick with COVID or something. So, what happened to you in 2014 is happening to a lot of people right now. So, can you share your story and hopefully inspire some others?
Yeah, sure. I got sick in 2010, so that's over
Okay.
10 years ago. And
Okay.
I was in a position where I had been a CEO for a number of years, and then I moved from Iceland to Switzerland and got a job in a small company where I didn't have to do many meetings. I sat on my desk for 9 hours a day, and I developed something called RSI, which is repetitive strain injury. It's
Wow.
a sickness that can happen to a lot of ambitious people that sit a lot at the desk,
Mm-hmm.
hardworking, very focused, especially if they have some prior posture problems, which I had since a teenager. And
Mm-hmm.
I started with headaches, Friday and then Thursday, Friday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I realized it has got something to do with my job. And
Mm-hmm.
eventually I had to stop working. And I knew this was serious. I've always been a hard worker. And so I was not trying to avoid work, but I went from doctor to doctor. It was very hard to get a diagnosis. It was actually a friend from the US who was chatting with me on Skype, and he said, I think you have RSI. And no doctor in Switzerland had suggested that. So he helped me get
Mm.
the diagnosis. I
So
was
he was able to tell by the way you were sitting.
no by my description of how I felt and where the
Okay.
pain was in my shoulder and neck and pinching ear pain. It was all
Mm.
these posture pain
Okay.
problems.
All
And
right.
he just asked me, like, is this the way you feel? And the doctors had dismissed my complaints. They said, oh yeah, you'll just take 4 weeks off and then you're back to work. And I'm like, I don't think this will be solved in 4 weeks. And I was
Wow.
right. It was a much bigger thing. I did all the things you would do, like going to physiotherapy, massage, do stretching, going to hot bath, go for walks, and
Mhm.
nothing seemed to work for several months until I tried kinesio tape, the tape that you see tennis players using when you're watching maybe the Olympics. Um,
Right.
the tape alone doesn't do anything, but when you're trying to do a lot of things, the tape
Mhm.
can be maybe the breakthrough that you need. At least it was for me. It's
Okay.
not a magic
Right.
thing.
Right. Mhm.
Together. And I finally started to heal. And during this process, my mind was, there was nothing wrong with my mind. I did not have a burnout. This was just a body that was not
Mhm.
operational. So it gave me a lot of time to think and reflect. And I
Right.
started to ask myself, do I really want to go back to work 9 to 6, 9 to 7, work 9 or 10 hours at the desk? Do I really want to do that? I said, I can't because of my health. I just can't.
Right. Right.
Uh,
Right.
Lucky for me, I got a phone call in this situation from someone who needed a country manager in Switzerland for an
Mm.
Icelandic software company. I'm like, perfect. I'm from Iceland.
Mhm.
I love the connection to my home country, and I could work from home. And that's where I started to taste the freedom and flexibility of potentially an online business without actually taking the risk of starting one. But when that job ended, I had lost my job twice in 2 years, as you just said.
Mhm.
I said, now I'm not going back. Now I have to figure this out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
that's where, in some ways, my new challenges started because many people will just not have a business idea. And I struggled with that piece. I spent several months on figuring out what I should do. I ignored the obvious choice, which was a business coach, because I had been a CEO for 10 years,
Mm.
master's degrees, including an MBA from a top business school. And still, the idea of being a business coach was somehow like, yeah, that's too average, that's too normal. I was always trying to find something amazing.
Right.
Now,
Right. Right.
on sitting in those shoes today, just start with the obvious choice, which was business coaching for me. You can still
Okay.
always choose, but the overthinking and not moving forward, that's the most dangerous place you can be.
Yeah. A
Thinking
lot of
about
people
something,
do that. A lot of people do that. They're always saying, as a coach myself, that people always think that they can only start something when it's right. I don't have the funds. I don't have the time. I don't have this. Maybe I don't have the education. I have to go to school. But yeah, they're always, but it's a fear of failure. So yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
And it's better to take the first step, even if it might be wrong, you know,
Right.
later on. It's better to take some step than no step.
Not right.
So yeah,
Mhm.
finally, after 18 months of being inside my head and overthinking, I started my business January 2014, as you said.
Mhm.
And then the next challenge came, which I also want to warn people about. It was, I thought I could figure this out on my own. I had
Mhm.
decided to be a business coach, and I'm like, I have run businesses. I can figure out how to start a business and how this online business works. I did one course that was like 6 or 8 weeks, and I thought, now I know how to do it. But that's not how it works. We are not good coaches for ourselves, even if we have a lot of knowledge. When we're doing something brand new, the fastest way to success is to hire help. And in most cases, it's joining a program or working with a business coach to that has achieved what you want to achieve, that takes you on this journey and creates a shortcut for you.
Well, the problem with that scenario, though, is a lot of times you don't have the funds to hire. Most entrepreneurs do it all in the beginning because they don't have the money. So, how are we getting past that financial situation?
In the beginning, there are lots of programs that cost less and
Okay.
still give you enough steps to move forward. And as
Okay.
you grow your own funds, you can invest in more expensive program.
Okay.
Um, my lowest price program is $3,000. And I know that is possibly out of reach for some people, but at the same time, I offer a lot of free content. I have a
Okay.
podcast where I share everything. I have free trainings every 3 months or so that people can join. So you can get
Okay.
to a
A
certain
little,
point, I
a little
would say, on
tidbits until yeah, you pick up
yeah.
the little free stuff, and then when you've made enough money that you can hire someone, then you can do it. Yeah. So that's exactly what
Or
I did. Right. Mhm.
I on people, you have found the perfect coach or the perfect program, and this is it, and you've seen the success stories from this individual. I actually, after 9 months of thinking I could do it on my own, in 2014, I pulled out my credit card and invested $5,000 in a business coach. And I didn't really have the money. And now I will not advise people to go into debt. I never do that. But this worked for me. It was like, what I call a rocket up my bum, really to do the work. Because, when you invest a higher amount that you maybe have invested before, you will not just sit back and hope someone does the work for you. You will actually do the work for yourself. You will make it work. And the interesting experience that I've had, not just this time, but the first time it was really a revelation to me, is that I pay the money and I'm like, will I get my money back? Is the question I have in my head. Within 24 hours, I got an email from a man who had been reading my blog and asked me, do you do coaching? And I'm like,
so what you're saying is the universe provided the funds for you to, yes, that's pretty good. Well, that's really how it works though. It looks like if God only wants you to take the first step and then he helps you with that. Good for you.
Exactly. So I am not sure I would have gotten that email if I hadn't said first,
taking
I'm ready.
Step. Right.
Yep. And you don't have to believe in God or the universe or whatever. It's somehow the magic, the world is interconnected.
But that's how it works. I mean, you have to, if you're going to say that you took the first step and God funded it, it has to be God or the universe. Nothing else works like that. It's the universe. Right.
Yeah. So I literally saw immediate results of me taking this action before I even started to work with the person. And then I learned from her the things that I want to learn. It was like 6 or 8 weeks of coaching. And then there was like a click in my head. I think sometimes it's like, let's say you're trying to market something and you are not able to sell. Sometimes it's just like a little tweak. And suddenly it's like the puzzle, everything falls into place. And for me, after 9 months of what I call throwing spaghetti at the wall, the puzzle started to work out for me. And actually, I didn't hire a coach until after like 1.5 years again. Although I totally recommend you always have someone on your side. It could be a group program or a mastermind or whatever it is, like always being a part of community where you can get help on a daily basis.
Right place, wrong time, hefty ticket. Klamath Resolution understands the stress of having your budget hit by unexpected costs. Whether the parking meter ungraciously ran out before your doctor's appointment ends, or you mistakenly parked in an unauthorized area while rushing to meet with a potential investor. Parking citations are a nuisance. The last thing you need is a setback while trying to get ahead. You have 1,000,001 things to worry about. Trying to figure out how to scrounge up ticket funds should not be one of them. Instead of attempting to pay what you don't have or accumulating late fees, we offer interest-based repayment plans. With us, you're able to secure payment of your ticket while guaranteeing a feasible payback option. More importantly, you avoid the risk of having your vehicle towed, registration canceled, or driver's license suspended. Why worry and strain when Klamath Resolution is here to help? Klamath Resolution, get your parking ticket paid.
Well, like you said, podcasts have become so popular because a lot of them give good information. I mean, you can go to podcasts that are specific, or you can go to podcasts that are interviewing authors and coaches that are going to give you information, and then, when you're financially able, then you can get yourself to a higher level by hiring. But they're good. And there's books. I am the type of person that have always self-taught myself everything. And you're right. It's going to take a much longer time for me to go to my end goal when I do it all myself and I'm teaching myself. You know what I mean? So yeah, but I'm in the coaching business, and of course I know that a lot of people don't want to shell out the money for coaching. But yes, so whether you get it free or you get it, your personal coach coaching is definitely the only way that you can learn things that you don't know. Right?
Absolutely. And
Okay.
in a lot of cases, the coach is not even there to teach you something new. Like, I have learned so many things myself. When I work with a coach today, it's often to implement the things that I already know,
You know.
but I'm not doing
You're
it.
talking about the blind spots. Okay. All right. All right. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Got you.
So
Got
it's
you.
so
Got
hard
you.
to coach yourself. And
Yeah.
when you have someone like shone a light on your blind spot, you're like,
Mhm.
yeah, I kind of knew it,
Yeah. Yeah.
even
Yeah.
if I wasn't taking action on it.
That's true.
Yeah, but through my
But
journey that I learned, I learned a lot of lessons and a lot of mistakes in my first year. And
of
then I
course.
started to see the light of how can you build a coaching business, a scalable business, sustainable business. I went into this business with the aim of making it scalable and sustainable and profitable, obviously.
Hmm.
I had run multiple businesses before. And one thing that I didn't like was when revenue was tied to the number of employees.
Mm.
And that's very natural if you learn an agency. I was running a website agency for a couple of years. And when I couldn't hire more programmers, our revenue stalled. And this
Mm.
gave me inspiration to say, okay, how can I build a business that is less people dependent?
Mm.
Obviously, I have about 12 people on my team today, so it's still people dependent. That doesn't mean that I don't hire people, but I
Mm.
don't need to hire 100 people. I can
Right.
have 12 people and make potentially 8 figures. Like that's the beauty of online business, of offering
Right.
courses and scalable programs and memberships and masterminds, is that
Yes.
it's not so people dependent. And I love that about the business. And I started immediately in my first year to think about how can I get out of the one-on-one coaching and
I was
start
just
off.
about to say that because I know that's where you're going with it. Yeah, a lot of coaches now, including myself, don't do one-on-one coaching. Why? Right. Why bother? Right. Instead, you have a group coaching, or you do the classes, or you do the webinars, or something along that line. But yeah, one-on-one coaching or anything that you're doing one-on-one, whether it's accounting, whether it's coaching, whether it's anything that is physically dependent on a 24-hour day, then yeah, it's not scalable, right?
No, not
Yeah.
scalable.
Hmm.
But I do think it was worth my time to do it in the beginning. So when I
But
get
you're
clients,
learning, right?
yeah, when I get clients today and I said, Sigrun, I don't want to do one-on-one coaching. I want to go straight to group programs. And I'm like, I highly suggest you
That
do
you
it for a
start that
little
way,
bit
right?
because there's
Right.
so much to learn about yourself and your ideal client, and you're going to be a much better coach and much more successful business person if you
Right.
do one-on-one coaching. And if you can't sell to one person, you cannot sell to few or many.
Right.
So this is kind of,
Yeah.
you could even call
Well,
this as a business.
I agree with that as well because, but it's also what I'm thinking of. When I started coaching and I saw what I can do to help, and it's great when you're seeing the results right in your face. You help someone and they did something or whatever. That's what gives you the confidence. If you start off in a whole group, you know what I mean? It's not going to give you the feedback and the rewards and the confidence. That's what I think. But,
Absolutely, totally agree.
yes.
But there comes a time, whether you do it for 3 months or 6 months or a year, where you are fully booked or you realize you've learned what you need to learn. Now it's time to step up and start to offer that group program that you wanted to offer from the get-go. And yeah, it took me, it was a mid-second year that I started with my first group program, immediately sold 2 groups of 6 people. And I started with 6 people because I saw some other coach do it. And then I
Okay.
asked myself, who
Why
decided that six
6 people?
people? So I started to
Yeah,
question,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
decided
yeah.
to try it out. So I became, I kind of was in a mind of a researcher, an academic, like let's try it out.
Right.
So I did like 8 people and 10 people and 12 people. And it took me a year to finally then offer a group of 18. And I
Okay.
was like, will someone join the group? Will people not think it's too big? Can I
Hmm.
handle this group? It was absolutely beautiful. The people, the women who joined me, my first 18 people group, they stayed with me 2 more rounds. So every time the program ran out, it was a 10 or 12-month program. They sent an email to me and
Month?
said,
You're saying they stayed for 12 months and then they re-signed up? Nice.
yeah, twice.
Nice.
And
Okay.
they always sent me an offer. They said, Sigrun, can you keep the price we paid last time, but we only have 1 meeting a month instead of 2? And I said, okay, let's do it.
Okay. Of
Yeah,
course. Of course.
yeah. So
Mm.
I proved it to myself and to my clients. And you know, this is all about, as you said, confidence. I got the confidence that this is totally okay. People do like bigger groups. It just has to, you know, can you keep up the quality? And I could. And it was showed in the renewals. Then I started to ask myself, okay, if 18 people is the limit, I can run maybe 5 groups at the same time, but that's a limit again. Like, how can I scale from there? So in 2000, I think 18 or 19, 18, I think. Yeah, 18. After doing 18 people groups for a while and getting to the limit of how many groups I can run, I decided I was going to have a more scalable group where I get other coaches to come in with me. And this was a huge step. It's the ego, you know? Can someone else coach? Am I not the best?
Right. Well, hey, Tony Robbins is making millions doing that. He trains
Yeah,
coaches to do his program, right?
absolutely. So I started with team members, people that I knew who were all anyway on the team. They had been a part of the team for a while, so I trusted them. They were my first 2 coaches in the program. Now I have 6 coaches plus myself in this program. I have 100 members, so totally doable to scale to that size. We believe as a team that we can grow this to 200 or 300 people with the same quality. We just add more coaches. And it's interesting where the coaches come from. I've had 2 come from the program itself. People who one of the person is part-time, so she's still building her own business, but another person decided to quit her business and go full-time and work for me. So that's been a very interesting experience, because when I have clients who are at this stage and they're like, oh, how do I find shit? How can I scale?
Yeah. I will tell you that almost 50% of the people that I coach ended up becoming life coaches as well. Something about the experience, they want to do it. So I understand that totally. Yep.
Yeah. And so, you know, when I was in this phase, end of 2016, beginning 2017, as I said, I had like 5 or 6 groups, and I sold them all out. And it was, you know, $230,000 launch, because all groups were sold out. And I was starting in a new mastermind with a new coach, and I come to the first meeting as we would be just speaking here, like we're today. And he asked, what have you got to celebrate? And I'm like, oh, I sold out all my group programs. And I was super happy and shared the revenue number. And he just said, and you've got nothing to sell now? And I'm like,
that's interesting. Yeah.
Is that bad? He said, yes, that's bad. Because how many people wanted to maybe join a group and couldn't?
Because you're sold out. Right.
Yeah. So I realized finally, of course, I wanted to create an online program that was even more scalable than a group program. But I had resisted. I had seen so many programs I didn't like, and I was like, I really wanted to create my own method, my own program. But this was a kick that I needed. Within a week, I announced the program, which I called Sigrun's Online MBA, SOMBA. And I got the 50 new members in there. They paid $1,000 each, and they were with me in a program for 2 years while I created the content. They joined the program with no content, nothing created.
You did it as you went along, right? Yeah. Okay. So
and then it's gradually, you know, as I had the content ready, and I've also adjusted the program over the year. And now this program is now $3,000 And it is completely different that I envisioned in the beginning. But the people who joined that first program, I called it inaugural class, they're still around. They've come back. They've joined
So
other programs.
give us a summary of what you teach in these classes?
Mm-hmm.
What does your right, your synopsis that you're telling them that if they join, this is what they're going to get? So
yeah. So I want to fast track the success of online business, because what I just described in my own story was a lot of spaghetti throwing at the wall and all that stuff. And you do one-on-one first, and then group programs, and then online course and all that stuff. So I said to myself, how can I fast track this? So I can literally take an absolute beginner on a 10-week journey, and they will build an email list. They will create their first or next online course that is 4 weeks, and they will sell another program that they also come up with in the program. So after 10 weeks, they have an email list with excited buyers. They have created an online course that is short, 4 weeks, and they are in the process of creating a second program they've sold to people and made money.
okay.
Because I don't want people to go through that.
Right. Okay. So that's awesome. So I guess in that initial program that you teach them, you're telling them the 7 stages, because that's basically what we're going to be talking about today. The 7 stages of a profitable online business. Is that so? Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So the 7 stages do involve one-on-one. I do believe people benefit from doing one-on-one, work.
Mm-hmm.
And 7 stages actually start with stage 0, which is sometimes confusing. Stage 0, you're not making any money, but that's the research stage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you can, for instance, create a course that is for free. I suggest to my clients they have the first online course for free, a free 4-week course. So you create something with your clients, and then you know that people will like it, and then you can more easily sell it. So in the research stage, you're not earning money, but you are talking to your ideal client. You're figuring out what you like, what they like. And then stage 1, you have one-on-one clients. And in stage 2, you start with group programs. In stage 3, you have your 4-week online course. I highly suggest that people have a 4-week online course as the first online course they create. You might make the course longer in the future.
So is it going to be different from the first free one, or you're just circling back to that one?
You circle back to that one. The first time you create it, it's free. We call that the beta round, because then you're getting feedback and testimonials from potential clients. Mm-hmm. And then the next time you want to run the course, you obviously charge for it.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. And I have wanted to shortcut the process so people can go from stage 0 directly to stage 3 through my 10-week course. But if they don't have enough participants in their free online course, it will bring them to stage 1 or stage 2. It all depends on how many. It's a numbers game.
Right. Okay.
If you have 100 people, 100 interested people in online business, typically 3 will buy.
Okay.
If you talk to, one-on-one with 5 people, 3 will probably buy. And because in online business, we don't talk to everyone, we do a webinar, we do a podcast, we do different things. It's this marketing attraction model. So we need a lot of people interested, and then people will buy, and we just need a sales page for it. We don't need to hop on the phone or Zoom to talk to them. Right. They will go to the sales page and buy. Right. So this is the first surprise for a lot of people, that they need so many people interested, versus if they're used to offline work, or maybe I've worked one-on-one before, they think, oh, I just need 10 people and then I will close 6. I'm like, no, that's not how online business works. You need 100 for 3 people, 200 for 6 people. And of course, conversion rates can be higher, but I rather give people the lower numbers so they're not.
You need to. All right, so that we're at number 3. Keep going.
Yeah, we're at number 3. And once you have created a small online course, this gives you the confidence, like, okay, what is my signature online course? And a signature online course is typically 8, 10, or 12 weeks. And that could be the 4-week course you created. You just make it longer and meatier. or you create something brand new. And this is where you can start to really scale. Like through my own journey, the year that I created my online course, finally, was the year that I went from 340,000 to $1 million in 1 year. And that's
Congratulations.
yeah, yeah.
Very nice. Wow.
Hard to do this with group programs, doable, but it's harder. And then from there, you want to finish your Ascension model. Ascension model is literally the journey you want to take your clients on. It's 27 times more expensive to always get new clients. So I teach my clients to create a customer journey. It's Ascension model. You can envision a pyramid, and then at the bottom is the entrance level program. In my case, it's a $3,000 program. But for a lot of businesses, this could be something like a 4-week online course for $197, $297, $397. And that's the first taster of working with you. And if people like it, they'll move to the next stage. So in my case, I have Kickstart. That's the entry level course where people create their first or next online course. And then the next level course, which is again a 10-week process with a similar method, like you get through a certain point in 10 weeks, you're learning how to market and sell the course you created. Okay. I have about 30% of people move up. And that literally costs me nothing. No Facebook ads, no marketing, even no energy, because it's a natural next step.
Right. Okay.
When you have a natural next step for your client, they sell it to themselves, basically. Because when you have solved the problem for them, at the same time, you've made them realize there's another gap. There's another problem I need to tackle. Now I've created my online course. How do I sell it? How do I launch it, as we call in online business? So once they've done that, I have another step. I have a group program called Momentum. And that's where they stay with me for 12 months and they, launch again and again, build their business, hire a team, learn how to do Facebook ads. They have learned now to create a course and launch it, but they don't really know how to build a business around it and finish their Ascension model. So I have a program for that.
Okay.
And then they have hopefully reached 200,000 in revenue or so. And then I have a final program at the top where I take them to $1 million, and I only work with 10 or 12 women. But this is what I tell people that happens in stage 5 for them. Like, what is your Ascension model? Is it 3 steps, 2 steps, whatever? Don't just leave your audience or your clients hanging after one program. They want more, at least a certain percentage, between 30 or 50% potentially want to move on. And this is leaving money on the table if you don't finish your Ascension model. Stage 6, that's where you look back and you look at, can I automate something? Team building is a huge topic for my high-end clients, as for myself. It's constant, changing my team. Now I have program managers for all of my programs. So my programs, I was sick for 6 weeks the other, couple of weeks ago, and my business kept on running, and my clients didn't even notice. Because I have put in systems in place, and so systems, processes.
That is the buzzword for to get to $1 million. You can't get to $1 million without systems, right?
No,
right.
No, you can't. So that's the 7 stages. It starts from 0 to stage 6.
Okay, that was pretty good. So follow-up question. So somebody comes into coaching and they want an online business. So do you take them through the steps to figure out what is good for them, or they come in knowing what they want and you just help them to put it on paper and do it?
In this first 10-week process, we spend the first 2 weeks figuring this out together.
Okay. All right.
And I have a process for that. I used to have a course called Find Your True Passion and the Right Business Idea.
Okay.
And it was a great course. People loved it. But what I realized was people finished the course and didn't do anything.
Human nature.
Human nature. What I did I took the best bits out of that course and put it
Mhm.
into my 10-week process. And I don't sell the 4-week course any longer because I realized people get stuck in their head.
Mhm.
So what they just need to do is to decide to take that first step, and then they will be guided through the whole journey.
Right. Okay. So that's good. All right. So now you have a conference that's coming up for 1,000 female entrepreneurs. Tell us about that. It's in Iceland, so I guess it's people have to travel there, or do you have an online version of it?
No, actually not. Well, that's at least not the plan.
Okay.
It's supposed to happen in 2020. We all know what happened. Now it's been
Right.
moved to 2022.
Okay.
It's June 22nd, 2020, 2022. And it's
Mhm.
Summit for female entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
And all the speakers are 7-figure women who have built an online business in different industries, money mindset, finance, female power,
Mhm.
vision, Facebook ads, different industries. And they have it all in common. They've built $1 million business, and now they want to share their journey and their steps for others who want to follow or just be inspired to take action. I'm all about action and implementation. So it will not just be inspiration. I know it will be a lot of inspiration, obviously. That's why I want to do it. But people will walk away with real action steps that they can take in their business. And this has been a dream for me for a long time to do a conference. I think online
Mhm.
business is great, but we miss the human connection. And now after COVID,
Right.
especially,
Yeah.
we will, crave meeting each other and
Mhm.
meeting each other and being inspired by women. And
Right.
we have also, besides the 7-figure speakers, I have one young speaker. She is Haley Thomas, and
Mhm.
she has worked with Michelle Obama, and she is a super inspiring young Black woman who has built a non-profit helping children eat healthier.
Wow. Nice. I have to look her up. How old is she?
She's 20 now,
Okay.
but
Wow.
really,
That's pretty good.
she already had talks and was meeting with world leaders at the age of 13.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Well, I'm glad that you've included her. So how can people, obviously since they have to travel to Iceland, tell us about how they can connect, buy tickets, the whole thing,
Yep.
because I will tell you that if I was in the business, I have an online business, you sold me.
Great, great.
It's like, okay, where do I write the check?
Yeah,
So you've done a good job of selling what you do. So I
yeah.
mean, there's people that have never gone to Iceland. It's like a vacation. You go and you write it off as a business expense. So tell us
That's
where
what
you
that's
can. Yeah,
yeah, that's the reason I decided to have it in June and not
okay.
in winter time
Hmm.
because it's 24-hour daylight
Oh
in
wow,
June. And
nice.
uh, I have also travel packages. Like I have already found the travel companies that can offer some sightseeing tours so people can,
Hmm.
see it right on my website. Yeah, and
Okay,
there are Delta is flying direct here, and multiple airlines are picking up already. And next year it will be super easy. But yeah,
right.
they've already started flying again. Yeah, so Sigrun.com is where people can find everything about me and the conference, of course. And it's Sigrun.com/self-made summit.
Sorry,
Self-made
Sigrun.com. What / what?
/self-made summit.
Okay, self-made summit. All right, so that's beautiful. All right, well, those listening and watching on TV know that a transcript of my conversation with Sigrun will be on the show page, which is blog.myhelps.us. I will link out to her website and also her self-made summit. And yeah, if any of you that are listening that would be interested in in combining travel, learning, adventure, meeting like-minded people. Like when you go to these conferences, they say you should do at least one a year,
Yes.
because there's something about being in an atmosphere with like-minded people, the energy and the, I think your brain goes to a different level too, because it's we're all connected, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, you know. So I would definitely encourage anyone. Now, where can they find information about your online coaching? I'm assuming it's on the same website.
Absolutely. Everything is at sigrun.com.
Okay, all right. So yeah, if you're interested in any of Sigrun's coaching packages, and to take you, even if it's just to get your mind start going. If you can't go all the way to her Ascension programs, you know, getting your mind working in the right direction is always a good start. Like you called it, something up your bum.
Yeah, it's like a rocket,
A
you know?
rocket up your bum when you
Yeah,
started. That's basically
yeah,
what you need, you know. I know that, you know, once like they said, that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. And once you take the first step, you're on your way. But if you never take that step, then you just stay in your thoughts and in your
yeah,
tomorrow. And okay, when the kids leave home for school, when the kids leave home, when I retire, when I whatever. And the crazy thing about what's going on in the world right now is that tomorrow is not promised. So you sit there in your head and you're thinking that this is not the right time, that I'm gonna, do this. I don't have money to do this or whatever. And you might never get that opportunity. So
yeah,
I would say
yeah,
the time is now, do it now. So, all
exactly.
right. So we're at the end of our conversation today. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in to the Transform Your Mind. Hopefully, your mind was transformed today on possibility, because you can be sitting there right now listening to this, have no money, right? But if you get your head wrapped around about what you know, like Sigrun was saying, she was a CEO, but she didn't want to do business coaching even though she knew it. So yeah, what it is that you know that you can make a business on and teach. Listen, I'm in the YouTube space, and I will tell you that everybody is doing something on the YouTube with their ads. Once they learn something, they're sharing it. There's a webinar, there's a coaching program. That is the industry we're in right now. We didn't get to talk on your real estate company, but just this morning, I was watching YouTube and an ad came up, and I decided to listen because the guy arrested me from the very beginning. That's what happens when you don't skip the things. And basically, he was talking about, walking away from his 9 to 5 job and starting a real estate company. And now he's teaching people, because he's achieved success. He's teaching
Yeah,
people how they can, quit their 9 to 5 job and make money in real estate. I'm also a realtor, so I know that it's possible. It is possible. So, quickly, what happened with your real estate business? Are you still doing that?
yeah. So I had apartment that I bought 20 years ago, and I still had mortgage left on it. And I was living in two countries. It was a small apartment, but I had, created a successful business. And I realized this apartment, then where it was and how it was decorated, was just not me anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
I felt the desire to buy something new. And since I don't live in Iceland, the banks didn't want to give me a mortgage. I could have potentially paid cash, but you don't want to take all the money out of your business. We know that's not
Right.
a smart idea.
Right.
And when the computer says no, I actually get very creative and inspired to find a solution. And uh, in my moment of frustration, actually the same day as the bank said no, you cannot get a loan because you're not a legal resident of Iceland, I have a lunch with a guy, and I thought he would be picking my brain on online business, but instead, he gave me this wonderful gift. He said, Sigrun, you just start a real estate company, and then any bank in Iceland will lend you money to buy property.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? Is that how that works? So
Hey, that's a good nugget. That's a good nugget. That's a good nugget. Yep.
I was so surprised that that's how it works. So I went to 3 banks and they said, yeah, if you start a company, we can give you a loan. And I'm like, what? So I decided to keep my old apartment. I paid off the mortgage. I used some cash to do that. I bought a second apartment, but I put these 2 apartments into a company. And so any bank was willing to give me a loan because the leverage,
Right. You have
issue.
collateral, right?
Yeah. And
Okay.
now, because I have a very, I create a lot of cash flow in my business, I
Mhm.
have decided to pay down the 20-year loan in 2 years.
Wow.
And then
Good.
I'm already looking for my third property.
Good story. Good story. That was an excellent nugget. You see, that little bit of information there is going to reach a different set of people than the ones that we're listening to early on, because real estate is the one of the fastest way for wealth creation. So awesome. All right. Well, listen, it has been quite thrilling listening to you, because what you're doing is you're giving you're sharing hope, and hope of the future, hope of possibilities. And that's basically what this show is about, is transforming your mind, that you can create your world, that you don't have to live under status quo. Find something that you're good at, and have a coach to help you, you know um, to go in the right direction, kind of thing, so that you're not stuck, you're not have a million failures before you find the right solution, because that's another way to learn. You fail forward. Yes. All right, so that's beautiful. Any last words before we wrap up?
Time to take action. Don't wait. Don't
So take
overthink it.
action. Exactly, take action. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for tuning in to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life Radio Hour. Go ahead and definitely support Sigrun, and you'll find information of her podcast, information about her summit, information about her coaching on sigrun.com, and that is spelled Sigrun. Or you can just head over to the show page, blog.myhelps.us. Definitely also want to invite you guys to join my Facebook group called Life Coach, where you'll be inspired daily by, dozens of coaches that we have on the platform, including myself. So thanks again, Sigrun. Enjoy Iceland, and you're coming up to 24-hour days. Amazing.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
You're very welcome. All right. So until next time, blessings.